Another round of applause for Peter. Ladies and gentlemen, my Lord spiritual and temporal, on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Adeleke Ogunleye, I welcome all of us to the 185th in the inaugural lecture series of our great university. Today's inaugural lecture is titled Land, Abundant but Yet Scarce. It will be delivered by Bamidele Ogunleye, Professor of Estate Management, Urban Land Use, Housing and Spatial Analysis. A round of applause for the inaugural lecture, please. In tandem with the established tradition of our institution, today's ceremony will be presided over by our Vice Chancellor, Professor Adeleke Ogunleye. Shall we welcome our Vice Chancellor with a round of applause? With the Vice Chancellor and other principal leaders of our institution, I have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Professor we welcome you, sir. We also welcome the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development, Professor Sunday Samuel. You are welcome, sir. The man that always wears 3 caps is the Registrar, Secretary to Council, as well as the Chief Scribe of our institution, Mr. Charles Bamidele. Today, we have the representation, the Chancellor of the Exchequer of our University being represented by Ms. Olufunke Adarawa. We welcome you, ma'am. The librarian of our institution, Dr. Robert Akinade Awuyemi, you are welcome, sir. The brand new Prof of College of Health Sciences, Professor Olabuji, you welcome you, sir. All our aides are also present. We have Chairman Committee of Aides, who does as the Dean, School of Computing, and also member of the Governing Council of our great institution, Professor Boniface Kayode Alichi. Welcome, you, sir. We also welcome the Dean, School of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology, Professor Olawale Thomas Adebayo. You are welcome, sir. The Dean of Infrastructure, Minerals and Manufacturing, Engineering, Professor Christopher Ogunleye Akindele, you are welcome, sir. Dean of Electrical Systems Engineering, Professor Adeleke Ogunleye, you are also welcome, sir. The Dean of Health and Mineral Sciences, Professor Ayodeji Oluleye, we welcome you, sir. We also welcome Environmental Technology, Professor Joseph Omoli Spatial. You are welcome. Obviously, applause is a little bit louder because it is the most thing. We also have the Dean of Logistics and Innovation Technology, Professor Olayemi Olasen Samuel. Okay, you are welcome, sir. The Dean of Life Sciences, Professor Mukaila, we welcome you, sir. The Dean of Physical Sciences, Professor Femi Barnabas Adebola, you are welcome, sir. The Dean of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Ogunleye Olusoji, welcome you, sir. And the Dean that commands the largest contingent of forces on our campus, Dean Student Affairs Division, Professor David Ogunleye, you are welcome. At this time, it is my singular honor and privilege to invite to the podium the Vice Chancellor of our great institution, the very first female Vice Chancellor of our institution, the Chairman of the Association, to deliver our address. Madam Vice Chancellor.
Bamidele, Ogunleye. Deans, directors, and heads of departments, especially the Dean of the School of Environmental Technology and the head of Department of Estate Management, distinguished members of Senate and congregation, eminent scholars and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I especially recognize the presence of our royal father, the Kabiyesi, His Royal Majesty Oba Dr. Omotunde Alaba Adako, the Oluyere of Iyere Kingdom, Kabiyesi, Ajapele, Baba Apelese, Ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ Apẹlọwọ, Àṣàpẹlẹ, Ẹ̀gbọ́, Ẹ̀tọ́. Thank you for coming, sir. I welcome you with great pleasure to the 185th Inaugural Lecture of the Federal University of Technology at Abeokuta. I warmly welcome our spiritual and traditional leaders, top government functionaries, captains of industries, friends of the university, and the entire staff and students of the university. I am much delighted to welcome the immediate and extended family members, friends, and well-wishers of the inaugural lecturer. I felicitate Professor Mukaila Bamidele Ogunleye on this academic milestone. May I, at this juncture, request the inaugural lecturer to please rise while I present his citation. Professor Ogunleye. Thank you. Mukaila Bamidele Ogunleye was born on October 4th, 1965 in Owo to the family of late Mr. and Mrs. Jima Ogunleye in Iyere Kingdom, Owo local government area of Ondo State. He had his secondary education at Adeyeri Grammar School, Iyere, Owo. In 1984, proceeded to University of Nigeria, Enugu State, where I obtained BSc Estate Management in 1989. University of Ife, Ile-Ife, Osun State, now Obafemi Awolowo University, where I obtained Masters in Estate Management, and then to the great Federal University of Technology at Ondo State, where I obtained PhD in Estate Management in the year 2011. Mukaila Bamidele Ogunleye joined the services of the Federal University of Technology at as graduate assistant in 1992 in the Department of Estate Management, School of Environmental Technology, and was appointed professor in the same department in the year 2020. Professor Ogunleye has supervised several master's degrees, dissertations, and PhD theses. He has authored and co-authored over 45 research journal articles in reputable peer-reviewed journals and has presented papers at conferences within and outside Nigeria, including at Ghana, Dubai, and United Kingdom, as well as the United States of America. Thank you. Professor Ogunleye is a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. He is an honorary secretary, Board of Fellows, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers from Ondo State branch. He has years of experience both in lectureship and management positions in the university system and has served the university in many capacities. He was consultant to the University of Real Estate Matters. He was chairman, Sports Committee, School of Environmental Technology between 2014 and 2019. He was chairman, Business Venture Committee of the School of Environmental Technology between 2014 and 2019. He was member, Vice Chancellor's Task Force for University Assets and Liabilities in 2018. Outside of the university, Prof. Ogunleye is involved in community leadership and development. He is the Ogunleye of ancient Iyere Kingdom of Owo in Ogun State. He is happily married, and the union is blessed with children. A region may possess large amounts of usable land, yet experience scarcity due to many factors. This points to a mismatch between the sheer volume of a resource and its functional scarcity. This is juxtaposing the availability of land against its value or accessibility for meeting human needs. The lecture of today is expected to enlighten us on the differences between potential land availability and actual access to utility. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have before us this day a distinguished scholar to present the 185th Inaugural Lecture of the University titled Land in Abundance but Scarce. Please join me in welcoming Professor Mukaila, Bamidele, Ogunleye. Thank you.
The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellors, the Registrar, other principal officers, deans and directors, distinguished professors and other members of Senate, heads of departments and units, royal fathers, distinguished guests and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great Tutarians, Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It is with profound gratitude to Almighty God and the highest sense of honor and privilege that I stand before you today to deliver the 185th Inaugural Lecture of the Federal University of Technology, Abuja, Nigeria. This occasion is particularly significant in the department of ethics management as it marks the third inaugural lecture of the department, following primary lecture delivered by Professor Bamidele in 2021 and the subsequent one by Professor Bamidele in 2023. This will be the second lecture from the School of Environmental Technology, which I'm privileged to deliver. My greetings. My last journey, much like the scientific process itself, has been defined by resilience, determination, and hard work. I have risen from humble beginnings, overcoming immense personal challenges, to stand here today as a testament to the years of passion, dedication, and perseverance. As I stand before you today, I am filled with a profound sense of humility and awe, reflecting on the remarkable path that has brought me to this moment, a moment of great privilege to share with you. My initial aspiration was to become either a marketer or a camp planner. This ambition led me to seek admission to study marketing at Federal University at Federal Polytechnic, and urban planning at University of Calabar, following the completion of my West African School certificate in 1954. However, destiny charted a different course. I was forced to study ethics management by my late brother, Mr. Ogunleye of blessed memory. Such the likes of Shotegaru, Adebimile Agata, Akindosofu, Nigerian Abuji, and Jide Taiwo, who were then controlling the Lagos property market. This decision did not sit well with me. However, Mr. Tunde Ogunleye, aka People's
the younger brother of Mr. Ogunleye, persuaded me to accept this offer as a young and innocent boy, eager to experience life in a higher institution. I accepted the offer with the hope that one day I will become a millionaire, now millionaire, like the great names in the profession, Shorted, Elwood and Co, Adekunle and Professor and Co, my friend and Muslim, Jide and Co, and others who sang us at that time dotted the streets of Lagos and other major cities in Nigeria and even overseas. However, there was a dramatic turn upon completing my National Youth Service Corps in Katsina. I worked briefly in Lagos before President directed my path to the Federal University of Bamidele, where I joined the Department of Ethics Management and Health Assistance. This shared my dream to become a billionaire. Nevertheless, like always, I started roles through the ranks from graduate assistants in attaining the rank of full professors in 2019 to give the role in all the glory. Madam Vice Chancellor, team members of the academic community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, inaugural lectures are academic lectures that formally announce the education of scholars to the rank of professors. Today's lecture addresses a subject of urgent local significance, one that touches the very existence of humankind. The title of the lecture is Land, Abundance, Yet Scarce. The presentation reflects my tactical journey in teaching and research within the discipline of ethics management, with a particular focus on urban land use, housing, and spatial analysis. First, I stand before you today to present my exposure in academics and community service to the world. The greater evolution of land. The existence of land on planet Earth is rooted in the creative work of God, whose marvelous laws of creation span 6 days as authoritatively documented in the Holy Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 12. And the put there. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then God said, let there be a space between the waters to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth. And that's what happened. Then God said, let the waters beneath the sky flow together into one place, so dry ground may appear. And that's what happened. God called the dry ground land and water seas, and God saw that it was good. At the end of creation, the account gives no doubt about the state of the earth. Concluding with the words, God saw all that they are made, and it was very good. This abundant land and the environment, they were good, peaceful and beautiful. The position of the Quran, chapter 54, verse 4, and the traditional beliefs, as quoted by in 2009, do not differ from that of the Holy Bible, in according to the order and completeness of the earth at the time of creation. Furthermore, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, God established the garden of Eden and placed Adam and Eve there to tend and care for it. In this regard, Adam and Eve are not regarded as the first earthly and brothers, since Eden was the first estate, that is planet, known to man. How prepared I am, therefore, to start today as a lesson to God and Bible, and tradition. Thank you. The prognosis. Nigeria has a total size of approximately 920,768 square kilometers in natural resources and land. It is about the same size as California, Nevada, and Utah, and the United States combined. The nation's political and material assets and sustainable development are not built on these assets. According to the 2006 National Population Census, the total population of the nation is adopted to be 140,431,700. Agriculture employs over 100 million Nigerians, which is approximately 30.1% of the total workforce. Additionally, over 7% of the working population is employed in the agricultural sector, which contributes about 24% to Nigeria's GDP. Furthermore, according to the National Bureau of Statistics 2020, The average capital size in Nigeria is 5.26 persons per family. According to Internet, approximately 62% of the total population will be living in urban regions in the year 2035. This signifies a continuing trend of urbanization with the urban population surpassing the rural population for the first time in 2020. Madam Vice President, the statistics provided show that there is a high demand for land for both housing and agriculture. The next constitution of the Federal Government of Nigeria, for instance, provides the federal legal framework for land governance and administration in the country. The meaning of land. Land has been described as a word with different meanings. This is because there is no one universal definition of the term. Different people say land differently depending on their interests and perspectives. However, with the common man on the street, land is the solid part of the air surface upon which man works and carries on most of his usual daily activities. The perception of what constitutes land among different professionals differs significantly from the other person's conception. Hence, there are many different definitions of land, as there are various disciplines that are some to do with land. For instance, the geographer sees land as computing all natural and man-made resources, including structures and the earth core. The economist, on the other hand, sees it as a factor of production, which consists of three groups of nature as well as man-made improvements thereof. According to Mukaila and my father, Chief Nana Ofori, a Ghanaian, and I quote, "I'm convinced that that belongs to the vast majority of whom many are dead, a few are living, and countless hosts are still unborn." This successfully captures the conception of land ownership by the majority of African communities. The rights of any members of the community in this regard are critical to understanding the tenure of the issue. In the light of the different views of what constitutes land among professionals, scholars are come up with the practice of defining land conceptually. Over the years, 6 different conceptual definitions of land have been given. They include physical, economic, socio-political, legal, abstract, and spiritual concepts of land. This concept very much significantly enhance better understanding of the special characteristics of land. Land has some special features, which is mostly distinguished from other economic groups. These particular attributes of land are indeed what provide the real property status on land and landed properties. Some features are heterogeneity, immobility, and inelastic of supply, durability and investment opportunity, high cost of acquisition and transfer, ownership problems and government intervention, Nigerian policy and legal framework on land acquisition. Land remains an asset of great importance to many economies all over the world. It has been a source of income, food, and employment, among other things, to millions of people all over the world. In view of the importance, land has been a controversial issue in many parts of Nigeria, where many countries or wars have been fought over land. This has led to the provision of legal instruments to provide a framework of land administration in the country. The Land Use Treaty, 9 Act of 1978. For about a decade before the decree was promulgated, were incoherent demands for a change in the land tenure of this country and for the adoption of land use policy for Nigeria. It was felt in many quarters that the absence of a proper land policy and the existence of many personal land tenure in Nigeria were responsible for the underdevelopment in the country. It was this feeling that led the federal government to set up a land use panel to study the existing system of land tenure and recommend appropriate measures. This led to the formation of the Land Use Treaty, now Act of 1978. Some of the specific issues addressed by the Act are listed in A to F, as listed in the agreement. Land and abundance, a historic, true, and global problem. Land, in its physical and cultural dimensions, has always been at the core of civilization. From antiquity to the present, societies have organized themselves around land and now it is itself, used and controlled. Land abundance is not only a matter of geography, but also of governance, culture, and emotion. Consequently, a holistic approach that recognizes the historical effect and socio-political complexity of land system is essential. Such will restore confidence in land institutions, promote responsible stewardship, and ensure equitable access and Nigeria and transform the latter land into a foundation for national development. The goal of land abundance must therefore account for not just the physical extent of land, but its usability, accessibility, and equity of distribution. In a country like Nigeria, where population growth is rapid and youth unemployment is high, land must be treated as a strategic national resource. Effective land reform, rooted in historical understanding and contextual reality is therefore better for turning latent abundance into inclusive prosperity. Land scarcity in the world of plenty. The notion of class scarcity in the world where past responses remain underutilized or degraded represents a paradox of distribution and governance, rather than physical efficiency. In Nigeria, where the land mass exceeds 900,000 square kilometers, the appearance of land scarcity is often shaped by poor accessibility, insecure technology systems, environmental education, and ineffective policy regimes. Scarcity in this context is not just about the quantity of land available, but about the quality, usability, and equitable access to land resources. Furthermore, weak institutions and inefficient land management systems perpetuate the sense of scarcity. In many parts of Nigeria, access to land remains heavily bureaucratic and slow, leading to informal arrangements and land grabbing. Also, the high cost of securing statutory land titles, coupled with the complex restriction process, discourages investment and commercialization. Another perspective. Also, social and cultural perceptions also play a role in the awareness aspect of land in many Nigerian societies. Land is not simply an economic asset, but a symbol of identity, status, and heritage. This symbolic significance has the capacity to limit availability, and families and communities to push to reclaim land, even when it has value or underutilized. Inheritance, customs, and gender norms can further restrict areas, especially for women and youth in some cultures, where actually the pool of accessible land. Resolving land scarcity therefore requires comprehensive reforms targeting national policy and socio-economic governance. Conclusion to knowledge, breaking the paradox of abundance yet scarce land in Nigeria. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, land in Nigeria exemplifies the paradox as difficult is physical abundance. It remains economically inaccessible, socially contested, and institutionally mismanaged. The roots of this scarcity are not natural but structural, with embedded in policy, initiative, weak dominance, technical complexity, and administrative inefficiency. The Land Use Act of 1976 intended to democratize access to land, establish centralized land governance, and introduce distributed beliefs that frustrate economic development in many states of the country. And people evidence from Akure demonstrate how land acquisition has been constrained by legacy bottlenecks. Ogunleye 2000, which assessed the impact of the Land Use Act in Akure, revealed that acquiring land for development remains arduous and that competition practices are both inadequate and opaque in Akure, which is the situation in many parts of the country. Moreover, the duality of private sectors, statutory and customary, has resulted in jurisdictional confusion and undermined investment confidence. In a study on urbanization and the migrant technology of residential areas in Nigeria, it was revealed that urban rural patterns in Nigeria, for example, are shaped by the former land markets operating parallel to former regulations, as I leave Ogunleye and other. The inefficiencies of land, bureaucracies in university are revealed in Ogunleye and Ogunleye to further educate in the evaluation of solar software which despite its strength remains only partially operational and has not fully resolved long-standing communication across issues. Ogunleye and 2016. In Lagos and Akure, three evidence shows that informal payments significantly inflate because of land titling and registration, thereby raising barriers to affordable housing and discouraging formal market participation. Ogunleye 2015. A latest study on constitutional acquisition and compensation practices in Nigeria highlights the inadequacy of compensation mechanism and the disenfranchisement of affected populations with excessive premiums, often skewed in favor of state agencies, rural communities. Ogunleye 2015. This institutional disinfranchisement prevents certain vehicles and alienates citizens from their rights. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, concerning the political economy of land, wording and speculation, speculative land holding is not merely an economic behavior, it is politically enabled practice. In Akure, trends in residential land values reveal sustained inflation in low density neighborhoods, driven by elite capture and investment wording. Ogunleye 2012. A decade-long analysis of land value acquisition showed that land prices in grant areas rose out of proportion compared to infrastructure development, indicating speculative periods rather than functional value creation. 2014. Similarly, evidence from macroeconomic studies in Nigeria indicates that socio-economic inequality shaped land consumption patterns with peripheral issues, witnessing disorganized growth, while land zones remain underdeveloped. Ogunleye 2005. This dynamic aggravates the former settlements and weaken spatial justice. Looking at cosmic tenure and the gender dimensions of land assets, cultural land movement traditions are continuing to marginalize women and youth. The gender sensitive study on market space in Nigeria found that where women dominate urban trading, their access to secure land tenure within this market space remains limited, and Ogunleye 2014. In residential settings, women tenants frequently face insecurity in housing arrangements, particularly in informal settlements, lacking legal documentation, Ogunleye and efforts to integrate legal equity into land policy must therefore extend beyond legal reforms and dig deeply into cultural heritage and institutional values. The direction of the global value from climate change and land depletion is pivotal to effective land governance as environmental education enhance land classes. Research on the environmental education of business education university underscores the extensive environmental damage caused by extractive activity, including soil depletion and water contamination. Urban practices also show that unregulated residential expansion, often driven in acute planning, leads to loss of green cover, poor waste management, and increased flooding risk. Ogunleye 2021. Furthermore, landscape degradation from the coast camp development along the river corridor has resulted in polluted poor and overburdened infrastructure, altering local land value and reducing resilience and building levels. This confirms that environmental linkage is both the driver and consequence of dysfunctional land development. Moreover, fiscal reforms such as land capitalization offer significant potential for public regulation and enhancing municipal development. The study on the process of land capitalization in Nigeria revealed that it is both accessible and socially equitable, particularly when adopted in rural urban governance. Ogunleye 2013. Investments in infrastructure development, quality and accessibility identified as key drivers of property values must also be integrated into urban planning frameworks to maximize land utility and attract private sector investment. Ogunleye 2016. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, decentralization and participatory planning are essential for retrieving land governance. Studies in the informal sector, land use in applied public places reveal how community-led arrangements can improve durability when integrated with land standards. Similarly, evidence of residential property development recommends stronger involvement of community-based stakeholders and value in guiding land use decisions to reflect local needs and realities. 2015. The retaining of land as a social contract merely implementing necessitates inclusive institutions that empower land anchors, especially youth and women, and reduce bureaucratic burdens. It should be emphasized that Nigeria's land strategy is a function of poor governance, evolutionary practices, and environmental mismanagement, not social limitation. The findings from research across Lagos, Akure, and other urban areas report the need for a people-centered urban and equity grounded land government by addressing national barriers, empowering marginalized populations, and integrating environmental resilience into land planning. Nigeria can unlock the full value of its land resources. It's not just about land reform, it's about national innovation. Additionally, a study on entrepreneurs in Lagos showed that land acquisition accounts for nearly half of housing costs, making affordability elusive. Solutions include zoning reforms, land readjustment models, and service tax schemes for cooperative housing. To this end, legal and financial stability remains foundational to all these reforms. My research across Akure, Lagos, and other urban centers affirms the transformative power of land when embedded in inclusive, transparent, and forward-looking frameworks. Land can promote entrepreneurship, expand tax revenue, enhance environmental care, and even build social equity. Conclusion. Madam Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are turning across vast intellectual and experiential aspects in this lecture, from every country to the productions, complexities, and transformative potentials of land in Nigeria. From the insurance functions that render land inaccessible to the gender exclusions embedded in the cultural system, to the promise of land as an engine of inclusive growth and environmental resilience. Yet, for too long, land has resulted remained the site of elder control, policy inertia, institutional policy, and social injustice. In a country like ours, where land is physically abundant but fortunately scarce, from studies of land value acquisition in Nigeria, in integration to residential property development patterns and spatial methodology, a consternating thematic land is unequally distributed, poorly managed, and weakly regulated. What should serve as a factor for investment and action has become a barrier enshrined in the world conflict, bureaucratic stagnation, and strategic poverty. The Land Use Act of 1978, though well-intentioned, is not inspired into the movement of socialization and promotion, as demonstrated in the studies of practical impact on development, Ogunleye 2007. The failure to democratize land assets not the legal aspect, it is political and insurance systems failure. Now the recommendations. Based on the foregoing, I would like to make these recommendations. 1. To have an effective and market regulation requires investment in data systems, open access restrictions, and regular market surveys. 2. The cultural and social sectors of land, evident in any studies on market dynamics, sacred geographies, and urban networks must be recognized as government sector. When land is used to the trading community, it uses its role as the home of the government. 3. International justice, which is a recurring theme in my research activities, must be incorporated into land policy formulation, whether in environmental studies, different exploitation, impact, or urban strategies. The message is clear: to this decision on land values tomorrow's survival. 4. Non-Nigerians who constitute largest democracy should not be excluded from land access, technology, and spatial data processes. 5. Technology and data delivery, not just as a capital but a necessary enabler. Yes, no sensing and blockchain open promise of efficiency, accuracy, and data integration. 6. We have said that land tax and the rent of the consumer property tax have advantages and disadvantages related to each other. For urban areas, and suggested therefore that land tax should be adopted in the improvement of conventional property taxation. This will stimulate landowners to discover and invest in highest and best solutions like that. Although the Land Use Act provides a very good start of revolutionary land development in India, but this inaugural lecture points to revolution that the Act has not been successful in achieving specified objectives. The Nigerian Constitutional Review is ongoing by Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For the Land Use Act to be a good policy, I advocate for the elected sections in the Act. This includes Section 1, which deals with land in each state and the governor of the state. This section should therefore be amended for the land to be vested in the federal government. Section 28, which deals with the revocation of land for overriding public interest. And of course, Section 29, which deals with compensation payable and relocation. Specifically, compensation payable is based on the market value of the land and improvements to be acquired. Finally, the state recommends the construction of a body to be known as National Land Resource Utilization Board, comprising distinguished membership from a wide spectrum of academic and professional disciplines at federal level and committees and state level. Specific objectives should be detailed for them, while areas of population, sources of commercial sustenance, and reporting responsibilities should be directed to the national president. Madam Vice President, I'm ready to serve the next committee if it is constituted. Reflections. Madam Vice President, man is not natural. It reflects who we value, what we protect, and where we are going. Man can be the backfield of exclusion or the gift of equity. It can be worded by the few and shared by the many. It can be a set of play or a foundation of peace. In the 21st century, no nation can afford to neglect land governance. Nigeria's future is food security, urban safety, job creation, climate adaptation, and national cohesion rests on the urgent need to reclaim land as a strategic public good. This lecture, rendered in the data, field experience, and collaborative reflection has argued that the practice of land abundance and scarcity is not inevitable. It is reversible. But reversal requires courage, creativity, and collective will. Let us shape land not just as territory, but as destiny. Let us build a nation where citizens, regardless of class, gender, or heritage, can say, this land is mine, this land is ours. Only then can we address problems embedded in our social and child protection for Nigerian justice, inclusive, sustainable, and good. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Appreciation. Madam Vice President, I thank you once again for this noble privilege. My social story today is the result of the contributions of several distinguished journalists and personalities. Permit me to recognize and appreciate individuals, friends, colleagues, corporate organizations, institutions, and family members who have contributed to my career progression. Above all, to my maker, the Almighty Allah, I give all honor know that I'm indeed the product of this place. It has enabled me to taste the best of several works, private practice, and the prestigious academy. I return all glory to you. I'm filled with a profound sense of appreciation for every one of you, my esteemed students. Your unwavering support, dedication, and enthusiasm have been instrumental in shaping my journeys in this religious situation. And for that, I'm very grateful. I really appreciate the support of my masters and PhD students, especially Mr. Shakida, Dr. Bamidele, Dr. Ogunleye, and their FM members. PhD Olusegun Adeniran, Mohammed Usman, and others who are brilliant researchers in my camp. I'm filled with profound gratitude and humility as I accompany the students and my high school mates at Bamidele Grammar School, now Bamidele Comprehensive High School. Okay? Class of 1983, every led by our president, Mr. Mukaila, and Mr. General Secretary. Throughout my journey, I've had the privilege of collaborating with some of my brightest minds and most dedicated professionals in the field. Together, we have embarked on ambitious research projects and made the thought-provoking discussions and forged a lasting partnership that I have enriched my academic experience. To this end, I sincerely extend my profound gratitude to Professors A.S. Asadi, L.K. Omani, M.A. Mukaila, and others. Together, we have exposed the world of real estate, a discipline in which the researching is taught today. My actual gratitude also go to the Dean of School of Environmental Technology, Professor J. Spatial, and the past deans, Professor Aiko and I.B. Kashir, and others. Including all my other colleagues and the non-teaching staff in the school, you are deeply appreciated. The foundation of the Department of Asset Management under the leadership of Dr. Shegun Kabibu Adisa, who laid on the rock of ages, was laid on the rock of ages. This road was very rough, but for the governance of Mrs. Kumi, Mr. Mori, Mr. Family, Dr. Adisa, and myself, I thank you indeed for working hard to lay and very foundation from the Department of Estate Management. At this point, I cannot but express my appreciation to my colleagues in the department, Professor M.A. Adebayo, Professor Mrs. B.A. Bello, and others. I am deeply honored to express my heartfelt appreciation to two distinguished mentors whose guidance, expertise, and unwavering support have been monumental in shaping my career. Professor Senior Agriculture, NNIBS, and Lady Learning FNIBS. To Professor A.S. I extend my deep gratitude to a senior leader whose membership and belief in my potential have instrumental me in shaping my academic journey as Professor in the University of Nigeria. You are guiding light and source of inspiration and providing knowledge, passion for research, and dedication to the field of estate management. Your dedication to the field of estate management is guided by enthusiasm and determination to make meaningful contributions. It was Professor Shaku, the head of the Department of Estate Management at Prof University in India, that extended to me the transformative opportunity to transform from dedicated professional practice into academia, a path that ultimately led me to become a professor of estate management. I am also deeply moved to pay tribute to a cherished senior colleague, Professor professional mentor and father, whose impact on my life and career has been immeasurable. The late Bamidele FNIBS. In 1991, at a pivotal moment in my career, it was Bamidele who explained to me the transformative opportunity to move from academia into professional practice. On part-time, as Bank Manager of Bamidele is believed in education and his ongoing commitment to fostering talent catalyze my country into the Nigerian institution of ethics, social, and values. Certainly, in part, that ultimately made me his own course in ethics, social, and values, and soon best and perfect peace. I wish to especially acknowledge the best counselor who has served in this university since I joined the service of the group with Professor A.A. Professor L. Professor I.A. and others. In particular, Professor Spatial and significant contributions to human capital development of any understanding. I became a prominent real estate advisory services under it. I got my appointments as reader and professor under his leadership. May his great soul continue to rest in peace. My special appreciation goes to the chairman of this position and the current vice chancellor, Professor Bamidele. I'm here today to deliver another letter, not to praise anyone, but the book and then lives after death. Let me observe that some actors are complicated and then without appreciable impressions. Your entry has created living impressions on Twitter, and Twitter's special and academic skills that will surely last for 100 years to come. We will not forget you easily. Back to the Indo, the Secretary goes to the late Congress, Chief Vincent Ogunleye, the police servant of the Indo, and Madam Salami Ogunleye, a.k.a. Mukaila, for their love and affection during their social and art. To my dear sisters, from the earliest days of our childhood, you have been my closest companions, confidants, and allies. To this end, I must not forget to appreciate Mr. Ogunleye of Blessed Holy, Pastor Ogunleye, a.k.a. People's Law, and Chief Olushola Ogunleye, the Ogunleye of the who ensured the provision of the higher education. I also appreciate the systematic awarding in Ogunleye of Blessed Holy, Taiba Federal in Ogunleye, Fudola Lakewa in Ogunleye, and others. Let us recognize the good people of the Kingdom who are here today to make this special invitation. Let me start by His Royal Majesty, Oba Ababa, Ogunleye, the Regent, the Ogunleye of Oye, and the paramount ruler of the Kingdom. In fact, he defied his traveling abroad to declare the day today. I also appreciate other candidates who are present here today for this lecture. I thank Ogunleye Ababa of Waters, Ojuna Akamoni of Ojuna Waters, and Adebayo Igwedo of Ojuna Waters for leading all their troops from the kingdom to great situation. I'm also very grateful to the President of the Youth Association, Imam Mukaila, and others who have worked also to great degree to support all of them. My further gratitude goes to the residents of Oba USA. I wish to thank the chairman, Dr. Bamidele, the PRO, Mr. Adekunle, and Prof, the General Secretary, and Sally Aminu, and Lagamina Oman, and other residents of the House for the peaceful coexistence and good neighborhoods. Let us also appreciate all members of the Landlords Association of New Palace Avenue in Nigeria for their neighborhoods. Special thanks to Mr. Olushola a.k.a. Oshia, the chairman, and Mr. O.S. Aki, the General Secretary. To the siblings of my dear wife, your presence in my life has been a source of comfort and joy, and I'm truly blessed to have you as part of my extended family. To this end, I want to appreciate Shayo Ogunleye, Small Money, and Shasha Ogunleye for their steadfast support. It is with profound gratitude and a deep sense of appreciation that I acknowledge the instrumental role played by the two exceptional individuals initiated by partner directors, Mr. Stephen Kudo and Mrs. Alice Kudo, my prestige members, and the leaders of support, offering unwavering encouragement and guidance that have prepared me for this significant milestone. Ladies and gentlemen, today as I stand before you on the threshold of assuming the esteemed position of professor in the field of estate management, I am prepared to reflect on the profound influence that my late father, Sadiq Jimon Ogunleye, and late mother, Mrs. Asma Ogunleye, has held on shaping my career trajectory. I moved to great tribute also to the unwavering love and care of my late mother, Mrs. Asma Ogunleye, whose illness has shaped the very fabric of my being and prepared me towards this momentous achievement. She instilled in me the values of compassion, empathy, and resilience, shaping progressive life today, and I therefore should rest in peace. Amen. Let me also pay a tribute to my late father, a committed public servant. From an early age, my father instilled in me the values of hard work, perseverance, and academic excellence. As a dedicated educator himself, even though he did not attend any higher institution, he recognized the transformative power of knowledge and the importance of instilling the love for learning the arts of God. Most importantly, my late father served as a role model and mentor, guiding me along the path towards academic and professional success. Very well, to my beloved members of the Council Society, from the depths of my heart, I extend my warmest gratitude to every one of you for your steadfast support. To this end, I am grateful to Imam of the U.S. Central Mosque, Mr. Yunus Olanda, the Imam of the Mosque, and Madam Bamidele. Madam Bamidele, ladies and gentlemen, as I stand before you today, I have been the esteemed position of Professor of Estate Management. I have deeply moved to reflect my profound appreciation and gratitude to the better of my inspiration throughout this journey, and I am beloved by the present knowledge and dear children. To my dear wife, Mrs. Ogunleye, your unwavering love, boundless patience, and steadfast support have been the cornerstone of my success, both personally and professionally. You stood by my side through every triumph and setback, offering words of encouragement, a listening ear, and shoulder to lean on when words of academic seems overwhelming. Your belief in my abilities, your unwavering faith in our shared dreams, and your tireless efforts to create a nurturing and supportive environment empowered me to pursue my passion for teaching, education, and tradition to both to and home. You led for a son in the United States of America for the better of teaching was never came back. I miss you for the assistance to the words of the Lord. Even like their children. But what you guys in the process of the affirmative about the past no more. To my cherished children, Ogunleye, Bamidele, and Ogunleye, your brothers and sisters, and endless gossip have brought immeasurable joy and meaning to my life. As I embark on this activity, you have been my constant reminder of the importance of balance, perspective, and the pursuit of happiness beyond the conflict of the classrooms. Today, I am filled with gratitude for the unwavering love and support of the dearly valued and children. Your sacrifices, your encouragement, and your steadfast in my potential have been the driving force them my teachers. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I really collect. When you don't get calls, this mama kept asking me, Daddy, when are you going to become a professor? Please become that. I'm now a professor of estate management. As I think this lecture to the truth, I extend my appreciation for your precious care to your support. The testament to the strength of our academic community, and I am proud to be part of this collective journey. Together, let us continue to explore, discover, and achieve the future of our university and business. I wish you to be happy with those destinations.
Another round of applause to Professor Ogunleye. Thank you, Professor, for this well-delivered lecture. May we please resume our seats. Thank you very much to our own Professor Bamidele Mukaila Ogunleye. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is customary for us to recognize some special people in our midst. So today, permits me to recognize some special persons amongst us. I will start from the name. I want to specially recognize and thank Professor Sunday Ogunleye, the former Vice Chancellor of Osun State. Thank you, sir, for coming. We have with us, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Tunde Arayela, the former Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Air and Water. We also have, thank you, sir, for coming. We have with us a man I describe as the professor that is most okay in Futa. We have Professor O.K. Koriko, who is a former member of the council. Thank you, sir. Professor O.K. Koriko. Thank you for always coming. We also have with us a former Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and Elder Statesman, the person of Professor D.J. Rufus. Thank you, sir, for coming. Sitting close to him is our brand new Director of the University Advancement Center, who happens to be a former Deputy Vice Chancellor Development, Professor Philip Ogunleye. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. We have with us a distinguished personality, former registrar, now a professor, Professor Mrs. Modupe Ajayi, our beloved sister and friend. Thank you for joining us. Also with us today, we have our own emeritus professor, Reverend Gentleman Baba Akinlasenke, the pioneer chaplain of Futa Chapel of Faith. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We have with us Prince Adebule Adeshida. Yes, he's a former university librarian here in Futa. Thank you, sir, for finding time to be here with us today. We have Mrs. Zena Falaye, former acting university librarian here in Futa. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Today, we are privileged to have with us His Royal Majesty Oba Dr. Omotunde Alaba Adako, the Ogunleye of Iyere Kingdom. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Kabiyesi was here before many of us. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We also have with us High Chief Jacob Awonosi, the Ojima of Ojima. Thank you, sir, for coming. We also have with us High Chief Adekoye Sulaiman, the Olutelu of Utelu Yere. Thank you, sir. We recognize you and we thank you for coming. We have High Chief Orisa Sanye, the Ajemuma of Ukiti Yere. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We have High Chief Olimore Amoje, the Amoje of Umoje Yere. Thank you, sir. We have High Chief Adeniton, the Otumba of Iyere. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We also have with us the Olisa of Iyere, Chief Sani. Thank you, Chief Sani, sir, for joining us. We have with us Chief Olu Ogunbodede today. Thank you, Chief, for joining us, sir. And we also have Chief Mrs. D.O. Sani. Thank you for joining us, sir. We have with us the Chiefs of Oliyere in Council. Chiefs, we recognize you and we thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for supporting us. Thank you for giving footer. Professor Ogunleye, we are enjoying it. Thank you, sir. We have members of Adeyemi Iyere Comprehensive High School Iyere. The inaugural lecturer was the OC prefect there. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. I'm waiting professors. Thank you for coming. We have the relatives from Iyere Kingdom, all the relatives of the inaugural lecturer. We thank you all for joining us. We have Mrs. Olufemiwa Lola, a sister to the inaugural lecturer. Thank you, Mrs. Olufemiwa Lola, for joining us. Today, we join the inaugural lecturer to recognize his late wife, late Mrs. Olubomi Bosede Ogunleye. We thank you, inaugural lecturer, for remembering Madam on a day like this. You also remembered our unwavering love, boundless patience, and steadfast support, and made the cornerstone to your success. We pray that she continues to rest in perfect peace. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to recognize the most important persons with us today, the group of persons here with us today. Great Rotarians. You are the most important and you are the best. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, have a couple of announcements. Immediately after now, the procession of the Vice Chancellor would make its way out of the auditorium. And thereafter, we kindly ask all professors to remain seated where I'm pointing to. Members of said family should go to the rear of the car park. ESL students should also go to the rear of the car park. Other university staff should remain seated in the hall. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my Lord spiritual and temporal, leaders of our academic community, I respectfully ask us to rise for the footer as well as the national anthems. We pause to remain standing for the erection of the Vice Chancellor's procession from the auditorium. We will remain standing. We bid you join mercies to various destinations.